Last week we did the 30th verse. I did say it is the backbone of Karma Yoga. It gives us the quintessence of what is right action, the blueprint of right action. Just a quick brief of it. Any ideal action, as we mentioned, has two essential ingredients to it. An ideal action, now all through our lives we have been acting, but alas, how many of us understand action in its entirety? How many of us understand what is the potential of a right action? The entire third chapter gives us an insight into what is action and how you can divinize your action, how an action can become a vehicle for your own self unfoldment. And here is that verse which gives us the real essential ingredient which should compensate, or rather it should accompany any action that we perform. These are the principles that should be an ingredient in any action that we perform. So an ideal action has two essential ingredients. One aspect of an ideal action is an action should generate energy. It should produce energy. On the other side of it, any action should avoid dissipation of energy. So when we talk of generation of energy, there are three avenues. Right throughout we are given three avenues because we have got three equipments. So how do you generate energy at the physical level? We understood at the physical level the only way you can generate energy by keeping a physical body into action. The more you keep your body into action, the more energetic you are, isn't it? The more you are inactive, to that extent you find you lose the vitality, you lose the ability to generate energy. In fact, it loses its life. So much so, inaction is death. You choose to lead a life of inaction, you pay the price of death. It's a premature death. So just by keeping yourself physically active, you will generate energy. Now I did mention that it's not a question of how active you are, it's a question of trying to be aware or being conscious in areas where you are not active. It's just like, it's not how much knowledgeable you are, it's the question of trying to identify areas of your ignorance. It's not how perfect you are, it's trying to identify areas of your imperfections. That's where growth is. So if there is no awareness of areas of shortcomings, if there is no awareness of areas of imperfections, if there is no awareness of areas of your inaction, you cannot step up your efforts, you cannot grow. Growth only happens in areas of your imperfections, in areas of your ignorance, and if you remain in ignorance, you will stagnate. I suppose that applies to any field of activity, whether be it medicine, whether be it business, whether be it IT, whether be it health, so be it philosophy, spirituality. So you need to constantly be on your toes, you need to really expand your understanding constantly, and when you keep doing that, you keep growing. So coming to the point, you may say, oh, be active. You may all say, I am very active, sir. So it's not a question of being active, it's a question of being aware of areas you are inactive, and wherever you are, inject action. So it is more so a readiness to action than being active by itself. You are alert to any opportunity. An example we took was, Rajima, do you recall the example we took last week? How to inject action, how to be conscious where you can inject action. You remember example? sure. You remember the example we took last week?
We should be the first ones to run to when
the doorbell rings. Don't wait until someone attends the door. You'll be the first person to lunge out of your sofa or your comfort or your recliner and say, I should attend the door first. It is that ability to inject action wherever you find yourself inactive. When the phone rings, you must be the first person to respond to it. It is that readiness to action. And when you look at life of a sportsman, you find they are bristling with energy. There is so much of life, there is so much of action. And needless to mention, even if you want to lead a healthy life, you need to have action. Even if you want to continue indulging, you need to have action. You want to enjoy life, you want to indulge in whatever you want. You want to indulge in food, you want to indulge in wine and dine, whatever you want to indulge in. How can you sustain that sort of an indulgent life? Even for that you need to be active. If you lead a tamasic life, an inactive life, you're gone. So at the physical level, he says you got to keep yourself active. At the mental level, you got to surrender your likes and dislikes. Raga dvesha. What happens is the mind has got no specific course of action. It doesn't give you a specific path to pursue. So it has, as they say, a mind has no direction of its own. It's directionless. And what gives it that nature is the mind is composed or constituted of likes and dislikes. And these likes and dislikes you have actually gathered from very young age. And the mind keeps entertaining them without a rhythm, without a pattern. So if you follow the likes and dislikes, your actions are scattered, you are nowhere. So they say you must surrender your likes and dislikes to a particular cause, a particular ideal, where all your thoughts are energized. When your thoughts are energized to a particular cause, it generates energy. We did take example of, you go out and stand in the balcony in the evening, you find it's a pleasant breeze. Wind is blowing everywhere. But when the same breeze is given a specific direction, what happens? It has got energy. What are you doing in the windmills? Are you not harnessing the energy which is there everywhere around? Another example we took was light. There is light everywhere. But when that light is focused to a specific point, it has energy. You can cut through steel, you can cut through metal. Similarly, when your thought forces are surrendered to a specific direction, to a common cause, to a point, it generates energy. When your thoughts are going helter-skelter, it dissipates your energy. It is not generation. And at the intellectual level, you say you must get on, inject consistency to your life, to your action. What gives you result is not performing the right action, but performing the right action consistently. As simple as you want to get to the water bed, the source of water, and you are just taking a tool and you are digging. Whatever tool you find convenient, you start digging at a place. You go 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, you don't find any water. You go elsewhere and you start digging another few feet here and there, you are not going to find water. And you see someone just creating holes everywhere like nobody's business, and you go and ask, man, what are you up to? Are you trying to, what do you call that, create construction? Like what do? They put the foundation pillars, isn't it? Are you any chance doing any construction here? Because you are just digging pillars, there are holes everywhere. No, I am in search for water. What would you say? You just go deeper, man. Keep that action going. How long? You keep going, you will know when to stop. So what takes you to your goal, what gives you the goal is not the right action, but consistently doing right action. So it's more important than the right action is consistency, and it is not an ingredient which is naturally born. consistency an ingredient of your buddhi, the intellect. And to the extent you are consistent, that level of consistency reflects in everything that you do. Anything that you pursue it until you reach to the very end. You will not give up anything midway. So also you will apply that same principle to pursuing realization. Here the journey is a long and a treacherous journey. It's a long journey. You have started your sadhana in some janma, you might conclude it in another janma. No guarantee you will reach the goal this janma. But only solace is nothing is left without accounted for. Every effort you put in is accounted for, and you will start exactly where you left it. That's only assurance. In fact, the only thing that you carry with you when you leave this realm, what are the two things that you carry with you when you leave this world? Vasanas, no doubt. Whatever vasanas in effect is ignorance. Vasanas is ignorance, or ignorance in the form of vasanas. Are you familiar with the word vasana? Vasana is nothing but desire, an unmanifest desire. Root of desire is a vasana. And what else do you take with you? Maybe we carry three things, if you want to put it that way. You want to add that into it, it's two things. You want to separate it, split it. You carry your karmas, all the effects of your vasanas, all the effects of your actions. See, whatever actions you perform today, let's say God forbid doesn't happen, just hypothetically, let's say the roof collapses on us now, and all of us have declared dead. Whatever we have done till this moment, good, bad, indifferent, who is to face the consequences of that? What happens to those actions you have performed or perpetrated? Yeah, it has to be carried forward. So when you are born next, wherever you are, you have to face the consequence of that, isn't it? It's a natural consequence, natural cause and effect relationship. So what you carry forward is your karma, which is the punya and the papa. Punya is the result of your good deeds, papa is the result of your selfish deeds. You have no choice but to face the consequences. If not now, you will face it certainly next time. And this is the reason why you can account for why children are born in opulence, another child is born in poverty, one child is born hale and healthy, another child is born handicapped or mentally challenged or with some deficiency. Namaskar. Otherwise, there is no accountable reason why the child is suffering, isn't it? There is nothing the child has done to go through that pain, that suffering, or born with a velvet carpet or with a silver spoon. What has the child done to deserve it? So this is the karma. So we carry forward the karma, we carry forward our vasanas, ignorance which are not fulfilled yet. Whatever vasanas you have carry forward, along with that whatever wisdom you have acquired, even that wisdom is carried forward. So these are the three things that is carried on with us. So whatever we acquire is not left unaccounted for. Whatever we have acquired, everything else is left behind. All the knowledge, all that you have acquired, all your possessions, all the name and fame and recognition, nothing you can take with you except this. And the only thing that will get you closer to the goal is that consistency. So if at the physical level you are active, at the mental level you have surrendered, a wavering mind, when you have surrendered, the wavering mind becomes steady. When you are not surrendered, the mind goes helter-skelter. The mind goes here and there. And the intellectual level you are consistent. These three generate energy. And then at the 30th verse we just did last week, I am just recapping. The second half of the verse, as I have said, is dissipation of energy. And the three avenues how your mind dissipates energy or you dissipate energy is worries of the past. It is a natural tendency of the mind is to constantly hold on to something which is dead and dusted. I don't understand why, but you are holding on to dead carcasses. Has no value to you. It's like I am going to the graveyard and digging up the dead carcasses and I am hugging on to them. If that can wake you up, I rather use that dead carcasses. Why are you holding on, going into crematorium and holding on to dead events? They are done and dusted. They have no relevance to what you are today. No doubt they have defined and molded you what you are now, but in no way they can change you for the future, except the wisdom you have gathered from that. Having gathered, never mind what has happened, forget it, put it where it belongs to dust, let dust be with dust. Don't lift it up, don't mess it up. But it is a very but natural, the tendency of the mind is to go back to the past and hold on to those dead events. Past, you can't do anything with them. Past is dead and gone, you can't do anything with it. But still the mind goes to them. An unnecessary avenue where you dissipate your energy, worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying. Don't they say an empty mind is a devil's workshop? You have not given a direction or a purpose. A life without purpose ends up with this. Just got caught up in unnecessary avenues. Waste of time, waste of life. Worries of what has happened. Anxiety is to what to happen, the fruits of your actions, what's to happen. I hope all goes well. I wish all the disturbance in the society comes to rest. Things come back to normalcy. Why are you worried about it? Why are you so concerned about it? Why are you so anxious about it? But this is a natural thing. The mind rushes into the future, which is not born yet. You are holding on to either something is dead or something which is not born, and you are not dealing with the reality which is there right in front of you. And the third avenue where you discharge your energy is like your battery, car battery is discharging. It will not serve the purpose, it has certain limited energy, but if it doesn't discharge unnecessarily, then it's good. But if you are discharging the energy, what happens? The life is cut short, isn't it? Shiva will give us a little more insight over it. That's your forte, isn't it? Yes. So you will find out the loopholes. Where is it seeping? Where is it dissipating? Where is it losing its energy? These are the three avenues you are unnecessarily dissipating energy. The third is anxiety or excitement in the present. None of these three happen in a child. A child has no worries of the past, no anxieties of the future, no excitement. So all the energy he has got is full of energy. A child never gets tired, is bristling with activity. But as you go older, you start worrying. It has nothing to do with age, it is to do with your indiscipline. So don't justify with your age. Oh, but natural for a child, but it's unnatural for us. No, it's not. It is unnatural, no doubt, but a natural state is to be, in fact it is not easy, but many a time in the ashram I used to get this compliment. I don't know how Swamiji noted it, that he used to say that Vinay is the only boy I know, he is fully concentrating. I said, Swamiji, how do you know that? Chumma irupa, I know it. He used to say, you know, and he used to say, this fellow is an empty fellow, empty boy, he said, empty container. No, not worry. One is that. One is I always very alert to pick up. In fact, yesterday I had a talk, and one of them came up to me after the talk, and he was sharing his experience, and then I observed him. In fact, I said, in the entire crowd, you were the only one who actually scribbling down something. You were taking notes. To which he said, yes sir, I have this habit, and I do this to control my wavering mind, because it's difficult to concentrate for over an hour or so. So the only way I can keep my mind to what you're saying is to just keep writing all what you're saying as much as possible. So I said, I almost said I used to do exactly the same thing. So much so, I used to write word to word whatever was told by the Guru, and the next steady session, you would have always a lecture is followed by a steady session where you sit and reflect on the ideas. And I used to fare those notes. So because you're writing at a speed, you wouldn't want to compile them, or you wouldn't want to file them as your reference material. So, and I used to rewrite those 1.5 hours of lectures word to word, including the stories, and certain times if it's a repeated story, you just give a reference to it, but you know, just capture that. Huh? So what was I saying?
Manana.
That's manana, but what was I saying?
Writing down.
No doubt, but what before that?
Empty.
Correct. I was checking whether you're following or not. So I used to write that down, and what he used to say is that he is an empty vessel. Say when I went at 16, I didn't have any preconceived notions, I didn't have to undo what I had learned. So the transference of knowledge was very easy. It's like transferring the contents from a full bottle to an empty container. You just pull it in. But if a vessel is already full, whatever you fill, it just spills over, isn't it? Until you start emptying it, then you can refill it. So I can see all of you as
Empty.
Amma neenga solnu empty. I actually see overflowing. Overflowing, so there is no chance of putting in.
Don't have anything, it's empty only now.
I wish it was empty, but the thing is overflowing. Inge it's already overflowing, so how can you put anything into it? But it is the readiness to learn and understand. So when you have that, it becomes very, very easy. But why did I get into this example? What was I saying?
Dissipation of energy. When that person who was writing down
No, I told much later that one.
excitement of the person.
Yeah, I was mentioning that
Anxieties and excitement
the ability to be
of the person.
in the present, not excited, don't get worried, anxiety or excitement in the present. So it is very difficult to remain in the present. Now that's what I was mentioning, and I took my reference to the ashram and the boy yesterday who was, or the gentleman who was taking notes yesterday. So it is not easy, but if you are able to, well, what I was trying to get at is, I don't know what it is to worry. So I am trying to explain something I don't have much experience of, to be frank with you. I am not trying to impress you all, I don't need to. I have never had this issue or ability to concentrate on anything. I never had in my life. So I don't know what it is to worry or be anxious. I never experienced it, never found it sapping my energy. And if you are a victim of it, it really saps your energy. It drains you out, it tires you out. It's an art. It's an art to just keep the mind wherever your hands are, where mind is steady, established. So it's in fact it's in a way of measuring how, when you mentally or spiritually get more established, your mind becomes very mature. A matured mind doesn't wander here and there. Okay, so this was what we did discuss, and the reason I went into it because the next two verses actually giving reference to what was said. Okay, let's chant 31 twice together. Ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto nasuyantaha muchyante tepi karmabhihi. Ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto nasuyantaha muchyante tepi karmabhihi. Are you coming for the right class? Where are you coming? Where do you want to go? You come to the right place? Where did you want to come? Wisdom Foundation. ఎక్కడికి వచ్చామా? You want to come for the Gita class? Are you sure? Then you are most welcome. Because I don't want you to come to a wrong class and go through what's going on. Give him one flyer, na? How did you know about the Gita class? Your mom? Your mom said about it. Okay. Are you interested? Sure, huh? Her mom said about it. Please. Yeah. Ukaran, kuchumma. So, those men who constantly practice this teaching of mind refers to verse 30. Those who practice constantly this teaching of mind, full of Shraddha, Shraddha means faith, and without cavilling, they are freed from actions. They too are liberated from actions. Now, firstly, you will find in certain sections of the Gita where he says, Ye me matamidam. Matam means my opinion. This is my humble opinion, Arjuna, referring to what he said in the previous verse. Now, wherever there is a reference to an opinion, you must understand no, an opinion is different from the Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is different from opinions. Opinion is of a prophet, of a person, of a Mahatma, which was relevant to, it is relevant to a certain class of people at a particular time, to that generation, then only. That's an opinion, matam. That is the origin of religions. All religions have emerged from opinions of prophets of different eras. That's what it is. So religions vary from prophet to prophet because they are opinions of great men. Correct? Difference from an opinion is a Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma means eternal principles of life and living. They are applicable to all people at any space, any period of time, at any time in history. It doesn't matter what culture, what religion, where you come from, it's applicable to you. It's constant, it's unchanging. So that which was applicable then is applicable today, is applicable then, later. It is beyond time. Sanatana means eternal, eternal truths of life. Very much applicable to you today, as much as applicable then, perhaps generations later, it will not die, it will not age with time. Those are the truths, those are the principles of life, those are the laws which govern a human being. Sorry, sir? The whole Srishti, everything is governed by that. The internal and the external, everything governs by that. Now, the Bhagavad Gita, there are sections where Krishna gives his opinion, only few sections, but most of it he gives out the Sanatana Dharma. So it is not that the Gita is opinion of Lord Krishna. No. What Lord Krishna is doing, at times he gives his opinion, but most of the times he is giving out the truth, irrespective, immaterial of what he thinks about it. See, I do not know what you understand, what it is to take the position I am taking here on the stage and talking on the Shastras. It is not a joke. You know why I say that? Because when I take to sit to explain or give out this knowledge, at any cost, I should not bring my personality into the teachings. It is not what Vinay thinks that matters. What are the truth said by the great men? It is my duty to translate, not even translate, transfer the message given out through generations, through me, it has to just pass on to you. So I am in fact doing a very diligent postman's job. I am just presenting the truths which has been laid down, and in the process of presenting I am trying to make it my own. I am trying to assimilate it and digest it and personalize it and realize it. but not give my version of the truth. So it is not my opinion. You must get that right. I am trying at any cost not to allow my opinion into the picture as to what is this verse, what is the message, but to give the truth out as it is, as it should be, as it was meant. So and that takes a lifetime's work, because it is not trying to give my version of it, but trying to understand what they meant, because it is given out in their contemporary thought language. It was given in their language, so I need to understand their Vedic language. I need to decode what is meant. I need to understand the panoramic view as to what the message is, and that is not an easy task. So when Krishna gives opinions, you must understand these are alone opinions of Krishna, not the rest. Rest is actually prahuhu. Many sections in the Gita he says, thus it has been laid down, thus it has been said by the great masters. So many times we have referred to that. Prahu, the prahu means they have said so. Who is they? His guru, the guru's guru, the gurus of yore, of past. They have said so. I am only, he himself is saying, I am just a postman, I am just telling what has been said. So I am just an ordinary postman. He is a speed post, I am ordinary post. I am but still doing a postman's job.
No interpretation.
No, it is not interpreted. You should not allow your opinion to filter into it. Now, you must. I didn't know you have such a beautiful ringtone.
The loudest one. That's my father.
Oh, okay. You need to attend the call, please. Have you muted it? Otherwise, he'll continue to keep calling. So, those men who practice this teaching of mine, refers to the previous verse, full of shraddha. And then he says, without cavilling. Without cavilling means with devotion. It's a mental discipline where you don't carping or cavilling means you're not finding fault with the teacher or the teachings. For some reason you don't like the teacher or the teachings, and that's enough for you not to pursue the knowledge, and that's enough for you not to be a student or a shishya. It becomes an impediment in your journey. It's not necessary you like everything in my personality. It's not necessary you like everything. Maybe the message is there, but you say, I don't like the way it talks, But what to do? Nobody is talking like that, so I just go and sit through it. But actually I don't like him, If that element is anywhere lurking, it is not going to help you in your sadhana, because it doesn't help you sustain in your journey. So I am giving this knowledge to you, this knowledge is going to serve you because you don't cavil. You are a very dear friend of mine, a very dear person. I love you very much. Krishna had very endearment to Arjuna, so they have great friendship, great love for each other. So you don't cavil, you don't find fault with me. As I said, this is the essential quality. And then he says, full of shraddha, because you are not cavilling and you have shraddha. Now, there are certain words in Sanskrit which the best of languages cannot translate. Here is one word. You bring in any language on planet Earth can't justify the beauty of what that word shraddha is. So it's really pregnant with meaning. Really can't justify it, even though we translate it loosely as faith, but it's not really faith. It starts with faith